Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be making a off-the-grid micro cottage for the cottage living expansion. It initially didn't start out as an off-the-grid lot. I kind of just wanted to make this micro cottage. Tiny homes and like the small homes, those two tiers aren't really that hard for me. So I wanted to challenge myself by trying to do like a little micro cottage with a farm and everything. And then as it evolved, it just became this off the grid, living off the land kind of lot. In the beginning, you may have seen me trying to make essentially like stepping stones up to the door. I've done that in a few other builds, not all of them I've recorded, but where you take I take the platforms and kind of just level them, one lower than the other as like stepping stones up to the entrance to a home, and it looks so cute. I would have done it with this one, but I had to restrain myself because of the tier restrictions, so we ended up just having that little deck, but it's still cute, so that's fine. I love this bunny and what acorn and mushroom wallpaper we have. It's so adorable. When I first started playing with this pack, I was kind of hesitant to use it just because it felt so much like a kid's room wallpaper, and I felt weird kind of using it in like other homes. But it's really grown on me, and I'm obsessed with it now. My only qualm is that I wish, because now we have the platforms and we can like make different height levels for like rooms, you know, I wish we had like a tool so that we could pull up the wainscoting, because I used the bunny wallpaper, but the wainscoting is like right at the floor just because of how tall the platform is, and that infuriates me. I could have just used what's it called? I could have just like raised the house normally, you know what I mean? But I wanted to use the platforms initially because I tried to do that little stepping stone trick, and then, I gave up. But I still feel like in some cases the platforms look a lot cuter. So I don't regret that, but I just wish we could like pull up that wainscoting so that, when we use those platforms and we do the different level houses, it doesn't like screw up those cute wallpapers. But it took me a little while just to figure out how I wanted everything in this farm, or like the layout of the farm, to be organized. But eventually I settled on this with the single cow or llama shed and then the two chicken coops. I think it looks so cute. I used those debug fences from Cottage Living, obviously, and then I used the regular wooden fence and then another debug gate for that one section. And I think it looks so adorable. At first, I was really worried that the chickens could walk through the debug fence, because I've had problems with that before, where you put down a debug item and then the sim or whatever just doesn't recognize it as being there and they just kind of stroll through it. And I think you can lose your chickens if they like walk off the lot. I was really scared about that, but I play tested this longer than I needed to. I play tested this house and then I just started like playing the game because I was having a lot of fun. But I never had any problems with any chickens wandering off, so that's good. But here I put down the laundry day, the why don't I know words? The clothesline and the water bucket. So your sim can wash their clothes. I think I end up forgetting to put down a actual hamper until pretty far in the video, like right before it ends. But I do have a hamper for that, and I think near the end of this build, maybe even after I turn the cameras off, oops, it becomes this off the grid build. And so in the back behind the animal farm shed, I end up putting down, I think, 2 of the water collecting items and then 1 recycler, just so that your Sims can recycle all of their trash and stuff. Because I gave this lot quite a few lot challenges. Oh, interrupting myself, by the way. If you look at this, the terrain paint, and you think it looks horrendous, I agree with you. It's really bad, and I don't know why I didn't fix it. But when I was playtesting this lot, I got the like terrain paint glitch, and so it was all gone. And I tried to just redo it quickly because I was irritated that I lost it in the first place. But it ends up looking so much better. I do such a good job the second time around. So if that was going through your head, don't worry. But anyway, I gave this lot what is it? Off the grid. I gave that one last. I gave the off the grid lot. I did the foxes and the wild foxes and rabbits or whatever. I did simple living and then the recycling lot challenge. So those were all of the lot challenges. And then I also gave, I put down 3 bee boxes right now, but later on I put down I delete one of the bee boxes and put in one of the grub huts, is what I've been calling them. I don't think that's what it's actually called. The boxes for like grubs or beetles or whatever, so that your sim can compost. I think that's what they do. Play tested this for a while and I still can't remember. But I also did put down a rabbit hut, not a rabbit hut, a rabbit stump, and then one of the bird stumps later on. Here I'm putting down flower boxes, and initially I wanted them to kind of go around the whole animal enclosure, and then I thought that looked like a little bit too much, so I just left it to those 2 in the front with a flower arranging station. And then later on I put down, I think, like 3 or 4 individual garden boxes, not boxes, yeah, the planter boxes, just so that your sim, if they wanted to, they could grow flowers or whatever and then collect them and work at the flower station, things like that. Almost immediately after building this house, I got like such big inspiration to make a sim to go with it. Not super original. Her name is Constance. I was obsessed with her because I was playing with her. And you'll see her in the screenshots because I was taking gameplay screenshots just for fun. And then I was like, I'm not going to kick you off the lot just to take screenshots. Like, you're part of this house. Anyway, I imagine her as being someone who, kind of wanted to get away from like normal life. I think I made her like a vegetarian, and she was very invested in animals and just kind of wanted to dedicate herself to that. So like maybe she moved to Henford on Bagley, and just got this little farm and is just trying to live off the land and take care of herself. That's also why I didn't put down I didn't try to do like a whole field of crops. I just put down those 4 gardening squares, just so that your sim would like have enough. If you keep the simple living trait, they can grow their own food and things like that. It's not like a farm, if you know what I mean. But when I was playtesting this lot, and then it evolved into just playing the game, because of there being so little like lot bills, because it was off the grid, I think she ended up just like being able to pay her bills just from all the eggs and the honey and the milk. So it doesn't take a lot for your sim to sustain themselves off this lot. But I do want to say, if you noticed during the build of the the house itself, there was no like bath or shower. Um, it took me a sec while I was building this to notice. And so what I end up doing is, and I think this kind of plays into the off the grid theme, but I end up putting the shower outside, in like this little half wall section, um, just so that, because I didn't want to add any square footage that would add to the lot, the the tier requirements, you know? And I know that there are ways to get around that, but I didn't want to be too cheaty. So you'll see it later on, but I end up putting down these half walls and then trying to make a makeshift ceiling out of a, what is it, a shelf? And that did not work because your sim could not walk into it or access it at all. So in the final screenshots, you'll see the showers just like with like an open roof. And I think that's kind of funny. So you can either shower in like the actual shower. I use the off the grid. I think it came with University. It's just like the shower that, you know, no actual, it's just the plumbing, if you know what I mean. It's like a kind of shower you'd see at like the beach, you know. But I used that one, and then, you know, you can either do that or like your sim can just shower in the rain. That's just kind of what it feels like. But don't worry, there is a shower eventually. It just comes later. And then I gave Constance, my little sim for this lot, two pets. I gave her a raccoon named King, after little King Trashmouth from Bob's Burgers. Anyway, I give her a raccoon, and then I also gave her a fox as like a little pet. You know, like pretend all the foxes kept coming around trying to get her chickens, and she just adopted one. I was like, you're gonna be my baby now. But I gave her two pets, and the fox Copper would get insanely dirty very fast all the time. And so I end up putting a bathtub in the back near the animal shed. So there's also that if your sim wants to shower behind their cow or their llama or whatever. But here I am actually putting in the little shower section. Here I am trying to figure out how to make the shelf fit. And it was all for nothing because it ends up not working. But I do put up these little flowers from, I think, Get Together. I used to be obsessed with those flowers when Get Together first came out. They're so cute. They still are. But I had to delete all of that just because your sim couldn't get inside. But here in this little outdoor area, initially I really wanted to have that table and those chairs from Cottage Living. Oh, I think those are not Parenthood. Those aren't the Cottage Living chairs. The Cottage Living stools I thought were kind of ugly. So I tried those chairs. I'm not going to call them Parenthood in case I'm incorrect. I don't think they are. But I tried those other stools and they didn't work. I don't think it looked like a proper outdoor setting. So I end up just using that table to put like a little decoration on. And I put down these chairs from Eco Living, the kind of like old weathered ones, because I feel like that would fit outdoors. I think later on I also give this sim a woodworking station, and this sim I gave the lot a woodworking station, and so we can pretend that your sim maybe likes woodworking and they built those chairs themselves, and that's why they look just a little bit rough. But I ended up doing that for the outdoor area. And then here I am trying to figure out the like living and bedroom space. I really wish I could have used the bed from Cottage Living, like the big one. It's so cute. I love all of the swatches for like the bedding. It's adorable. But I felt like I needed to use that Murphy bed just because I didn't like any of the single beds. None of them fit in my opinion, and they always looked wonky. And then I really wanted to have like a way to get a more formal dining room there. So I just went with the Murphy bed. Yeah. Here I am just putting down some details for the kitchen. It was very hard for me not to put 1,000 items everywhere. I really love to clutter houses and make everything look very, very lived in. And I still tried to accomplish that with this house, but because of how small it is, I'd imagine if you lived here, you'd be a lot more mindful of what items you own and where you put them, and so you wouldn't collect a bunch of stuff and just have it lying around everywhere because you just don't have the space. Like that square is your whole entire house, and then everything else is outdoors, so you really can't afford to just like throw things everywhere. So I kept the decorations to a minimum, which was extremely hard. But if you saw me put down that little cow plant object, I think it's from the paranormal pack. I end up putting that on the windowsill. I cut the footage out just because it's just me fiddling with the tool mod. I don't think I said this before. This was my first time ever using the tool mod. And so I had a lot of fun with it. And there's like the tail end of me playing with it. But it was very tedious to watch. But I put the cow plant and then some books and I think another little plant on that shelf. And because I put it, it's not a shelf, I put it on the window, and because of they're like technically outside the house, the lighting is off with them, and I really don't know how to fix that without bringing them in more, which would make it look like they're off the shelf. So that's painful and I hate it, but I can't really do much about it to my knowledge. Let me know if you know how to fix that because I sure don't. But we're nearing the end of the video here. I just put down a little makeshift greenhouse in the side of the house just for some extra, gardening opportunities, putting down some last little details. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, or subscribe. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!